Hello everyone, this is Walking Problem. Today's date is 27th of October, 12:51 noon. Yeah, so today I want the topic that I want to talk about is actually something I just randomly call success bias. So what it means is that something that you do works and thus you do more of it. I think this is quite common for YouTube creators, when people do, for example, they were like trying like me. So like we are still in the early days, and then we are trying to find the direction on YouTube to what topic or what content or how to present the content in order to find a way forward for people that would want to look at our content and watch us and subscribe to us. And usually, when this happens when they touch on Game of Thrones, a few years ago, where wow, then suddenly they have a spike in views and subscribers, and then they started to do more Game of Thrones, and then more Game of Thrones, and then in the end, their entire channel is all just Game of Thrones. Or it could be Star Wars, it could be Lord of the Rings, it could be certain games, and even in politics, then some will be like they'll be um doing about Trump, and then or anti-Trump, and then they will just double down and double down and double down, and they cannot get out of it because that's the only way they can get views. And I want to highlight this because it's so interesting because I did this I call it a rant lah. I was ranting about Ryan Tan, the NOC saga with Sylvia, and it got a lot of views. So if you look at this, I got like 3,178 views at this moment, and then and if you look at the rest of the content, so I have been talking mostly on US politics and US stuff, and then so you can see that certain things, the views are just not that much, because maybe because competition is very high as well, for US politics. And then when I do talk about Singapore one, like this one, there's zero views. Nobody care about the living wage in Singapore. The people like just 去死吧. So the and then you see it. I have I ever touch on topics, like 10,000 views, 5,000 views, 31,000 views, and I had this kind of things, like, but it's just one off. And now we have this Xiaxue interview, not Xiaxue interview, but as in the Sylvia and Ryan one. And it's very tempting, right? As a YouTube creator to, or just someone who is still starting out and to want to like, oh, let's double down, man. This is working. And I'm trying very hard not to do it. I think it will lead me into a very terrible direction where I'm trying to avoid tabloids and I'm getting more into tabloids. And this is what I call the path to hell. So why is it a path to hell? If you go into Singapore politics, right, and then there are certain infamous people that you will probably know. For example, Roy Ng. For example, PJ Thum. For example, Amos Yee. What do these three persons have in common? Or even Han Hui Hui. But I think Han Hui Hui not that bad. But you know what these three guys have in common? PJ Thum, Roy Ng, and Amos Yee. All of them got duped into thinking that going anti-government is a way forward. In fact, it was actually a path to hell. For example, let's say go to Amos Yee. He was really young when he was starting to make the news. He was a young actor. Then after that, he was publishing on YouTube, talking controversial stuff, and he's a very well-spoken person. For a person of his age, he's very, very well-spoken. But he was trying to find a way forward for himself, and maybe a career and all these things. Then, so he started talking some controversial stuff. I don't really look at his content. I just sort of understand. So I may be wrong, but he started some controversial topic, and then it got a spike. And then so he doubled down on controversial topics over controversial topics, and eventually he realized that oh, this can make money, because once you can monetize your YouTube channel, all these views are money. It be a bit more, a bit less, it really depends, but the views do translate into money. And the more controversial the topic, the more views there is, the more he earns. And he probably thought that, hey, this is the way forward. And then so he delved deeper and deeper, because the problem with YouTubers, and this is very common if you actually look at a lot of YouTubers, you can look at, I think a lot of the famous ones, eventually all of them will come up with a video talking about depression, talking about how they got burnt out, how they they were struggling so hard to create content, to think of something new, and then they will keep doubling down on the things. Like, for example, someone who do pranks, the prank will have to get bigger and bigger and bigger in order to get the viewers to come back. Because if the prank gets smaller, or it's just always more or less the same thing, the viewers get bored. And although that is what they think lah, so it could be wrong, but for Amos Yee's case, he decided to double down. And in the end, he did it for so long that he thought that this is the way forward. And thus he just create ridiculous videos, like Lee Kuan Yew died, then he criticized Lee Kuan Yew, he will say that he's happy that he died and all these things. It's ridiculous. But what he wants, I don't think he really believes in it. He really just wants the view. And wait, let me check out, am I recording? Oh yeah, okay, I'm recording. So that's what Amos Yee did, and then that's why he he got sued. And then of course he ran away, because he refused to back down, because he refused to take down all these videos that is making him money. So he went to USA. He thinks that it's a land of the free, right? So he can make any content he wants, and he can like get the views, maybe because in America it's a bigger market, and accidentally got jailed for 2 years lah, because he asked for refugee status, but have to wait. And then when he came out, he realized that Singaporeans don't give a damn about him anymore. And then so he had to say some topics, that talk about some topics, being an Asian, a minority, and he looks like crap in USA. It's very hard to, basically he have to restart the entire YouTube career essentially. So he go for the most controversial topic. He go for child love lah, put it as child love, and then jibabom lah. Okay, so that's too bad for him lah. But you see, this is what I mean by the path to hell. This success bias, right? Like, you think that that's the light, that's the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the way forward for me. That's the career path that I have always been destined for. And then they go down that road. Ryan also the same thing. He was a nurse, and then being a nurse, of course, is still a noble job, but he's a very ambitious guy, and he's not too bad looking. He wanted more. He wanted to do more. I believe any guys will probably be the same. We all hope, all men hope that they will become somebody. And for him, he just have a stronger urge to be somebody. And he was writing about all this CPF stuff on his blog or something. And then again, I don't really care, so I don't really read that much about what he wrote. But for as far as the too long didn't read version of my understanding is that he found a path lah, and then he got I think it's the online citizen, kind of like raising up into like a some kind of champion lah, for Singaporeans. And he saw that, hey, I'm getting so much attention, I'm getting famous, and people support me. And then he go on speeches like as if some politician, and he's just like, wow, he's damn excited. And then he think that's the path forward. And the result is, again, he got sued, because he's a nobody essentially. He just have some opinions. He's just like me, I have my own opinions, I just say. but then he doubled down. He got Lee Hsien Loong to go on court to fight him in court, and of course die lah, then pay money lah. Then he self-exiled himself in Hong Kong and then I think Taiwan, and then say, oh, he got prosecuted, and then he's being raised, being like, you know, hold up like some human rights champion, or you know, some political activist or what. That the truth is he's just a nobody lah. He's just a stupid person who fight against the system without evidence, and that's the evil part about the online citizen as well. The online citizen like to raise all these people who are anti-government and especially anti-PAP up, and then, you know, make them like champion like that, and they feel like, oh, I'm so good, I'm now like famous, this is my way forward, I'm gonna be the next you know, freedom fighter, or you know, like the hero of the people kind of. I think many of them all have this vibe, and they really, and for you to be like really outright anti-government to the point where like the online citizen will actually promote your work, right? You definitely have some ego lah. So to have the ego and then the confidence to and to have the ambition, right, to actually do all these things, means that usually you would like just throw everything aside, and then and that's what Ryan did lah. So he lost his job because he refused to back down. Then that's the end of him. PJ Thum seems to be the same as well. He was, I think, a national athlete. I forgot which sport. Then I think something to do with swimming, maybe water polo. I don't know. Then after that, he was studying in a prestigious university. I think I forgot what he studied. Sorry, he's too not important. So I used to know all these things lah. So anyway, so he wrote a paper based on some classified information that was released in the UK, and he based exclusively from these released documents to conclude his paper lah. He was writing this paper for his what's called professorship, bachelor, master, doctorate, yeah, his doctorate, his paper. So and then maybe the university just don't want to deal with him and just give him a pass. The problem is that you got a doctorate of a flawed paper. Of course, I do not read the paper, so I don't know well. So this is just my random opinion as an outsider. And then he didn't seem to get a job lah. I like for most doctorates, right? You manage to, you know, at least to get a lecturing tenure at any universities. But he didn't seem to be lecturing anywhere, and he called himself some visiting fellow or whatever. I think those are also not really teaching capacity. He's just there on permission to, you know, go into the library to read, if I didn't understand wrongly. So in the end, he's like a very highly qualified unemployed person. So and when because he wrote such a paper that's anti-government, right, and then he's such a high profile person, being a doctorate. So when he came back to Singapore, of course, the online citizen again, you know, whoa, champion. And then after that, he's like, wow, this is the way forward. In double down lah. So just nice that we have this fake news thingy, the hearing, and then he went to submitted his own work, and then the best part is that very unscientifically insisted that PAP is the sole, you know, or the biggest creator of fake news, and then kena slap for the entire day, and totally squashed by the real professors and doctorates and researchers and experts and historians, the real historians that, you know, dig out all this information and content that he have no way to refute, because he called himself a historian, but he's actually not a doctor, not a doctorate in historian. So in history, he was like in something else lah. I forgot already lah. Not important lah. So and then he got smashed lah, because at the time when I at the hearing, I listened to the entire hearing. I don't know, 5-6 hours or more. I listened to the entire shit because I was very curious about this guy. I was like, who is this guy, man? He's a doctor, you know. And then he's a professor, and then he's like saying some things, and then I was like, I really want to hear what he said. At the end of the day, when I listen to everything, I just think, God, man, this guy have no substance. It's true, because how can you decide? Firstly, as any scientist or researcher, you will never say 100% for sure, especially something happened in the past. Something like, you know, it's a historical thing. Like, for example, 100% Lee Kuan Yew purposely want to take Singapore out of Malaysia. You cannot say this kind of thing because you don't know. The truth is, nobody will know. You cannot say 100% for sure. You can only say that based on my research and analysis, and my opinion is that Lee Kuan Yew purposely set Singapore's path to independence through his clash with Malaysia. Maybe something like that. You cannot say for sure. But he say for sure PAP is the generator of fake news. Die lor. So then of course the PAP will slap him down until it's like become roti prata lah. But that's how it is. And then he don't seem to get any other job, and probably this is the only thing that makes him feel meaningful. And he created a news website, which I don't want to promote here, so you can find out yourself. It's a new something which nobody want to read, because it was like anti-government of all ASEAN countries. So I don't know what's the purpose lah. It's so not productive. So anyway, that's how he want to live his life. And he's like being blacklisted by the Singapore government because he keep doubling down, you see. He think that this freedom fighting thing is the way forward because he had some success, you know, some fame provided by the online citizen from his doctorate work. And this is the success bias, no? And then that's all he do now. I don't know where he got his funding. That's why he's got blacklisted. Probably the government knows something, but I don't want to say. So now come back to the NOC, Ryan, Sylvia, and I resisted myself to create another video on the Xiaxue interview with Sylvia. I think it would just bring me down this path of hell. So if you just go to YouTube, research Silver NOC. So the first one, of course, is Xiaxue. So it's already broke 1 million view. And then you see the rest of the Singapore content creator community, even news media, they are all milking them, you know. They are having a freaking bad tragedy, right? And the whole of Singapore is like, yay, let's milk them for money and views. And then here you see SG gossip. Well, Siwei might not be the bad guy, and then they talk, and then 5,000 views. Woohoo! Then after that, you know, this SG Boba RT 2,000 views, and then, you know, Royce Lee. I think I saw this one. This one was funny. So it's like 11,000 views. Then everybody was like creating mine is here. So I think I saw more than this. There's still a lot more. I think like one of my favorite, Sneaky Sushi, also created a very good video to summarize what he thinks and feel about the revelation on the blog, which is what I also created lah. So, and I think this is a really dangerous path to hell, because, and I think it's really bad karma to actually, you know, earn money from all these things. But so this is the video I just want to talk about. And I think that any content creator, or even as a person, right, we need to be very mindful that sometimes the light at the end of the tunnel might not actually be the light at the end of the tunnel. It might be the light towards hell. And we need to be mindful that the thing that gives us maybe some seeming progress might not actually be real progress. It could be just something that will, it's just a temporary thing. And sometimes this thing you might not actually like it that much. It might not be actually that satisfying to actually work on. Some people they like there are also there are stories where certain children or child, they go into maybe violin or ballet or certain art form or certain kind of profession, like become a doctor, because they want to please their parents or please their mother or please their father, or to get their acknowledgement. And this is the kind of like path to hell, because they don't really like that thing and they are having success in that thing, and that's the only thing they can do because they invested so much into it, just to get certain kind of returns, which in the end it doesn't feed your soul. It actually eats into your soul. So I hope this video is meaningful for you. Maybe you might learn something and a bit about all these idiots. No, sorry, not idiots. Some people that have come and go in Singapore politics, and I hope the best for Sylvia and Ryan. I will avoid very very deliberately avoid creating another video on them unless something that comes out and then I have such a strong feeling that I have to say something. I think for just a closing kind of a statement on the Silver thing is for the Xiaxue interview is that Xiaxue interview actually reveals the kind of pressure, depression, challenges that Silver have to face as the wife of a very insensitive husband, and the job of having to run a company that have a very high overhead. And this is actually highly stressful. You can just look at the videos from a long time ago, when she still have nice hair. You see still younger, and then now look at her become auntie already. And she's younger than me she's a lot younger than me, so she don't look that young as a result. It's quite sad. So that doesn't dissolve her of her responsibility of being an asshole. She's still an asshole in the past, and according to the interview, she's trying very hard to change, which is also why that she still have like 30 employees working for her, at least according to the interview, and they are willing to stand by her, or at least keep their job, and that's good. And I think that because of this saga, I think she will change for the better as well. So let's not demonize her, and let's demonize Ryan. No lah, just joking. Let's Ryan is definitely not the kind of angel. So definitely no one is perfect. So as well, that's why I think we need to be mindful of the hidden the undercurrent of any story. There's always an undercurrent, and this is why I have this channel, like Common Bad, because the common good is usually not good. Like people is destroying Sylvia, for the common good, man. It's like she's the devil, and then it's never for the common good. The common good is always never good. There's always an agenda. So I see you next time. Please like and subscribe if you may. If you don't, then never mind lah. Like I say lah, my views is horrible lah. See, this kind of shitty view also how to create content, right? Okay lah. So that's it, and bye bye.